Chelsea end 2024 with a historic loss, an embarrassing defeat away at Ipswich Town, granting the Tractors their first win at home in the Premier League for something like 1,000 years. It was a 2-0 win, a lucky in terms of the goals, but they are absolutely worth the win. Of course, they got a gifted non-penalty, and Dessi decided to change allegiances for a few seconds and give them a goal as well. But there was dysfunction all over the pitch, naivety. There was 5 changes from the Chelsea manager, which you might just argue was a mistake. Playing Dessi, yes, we're going to talk about Dessi at right back, when you actually have 1, 2, 3 right backs sitting on the bench, you opt to play this player. We will, of course, talk about this. Enzo Maresca said weeks ago, when Chelsea were playing well, he sees certain things that means Chelsea aren't in a title race. When everyone else was saying, oh, you're in a title race, he was like, no, we're really not. And his thoughts have come to pass. Look, guys, I myself said in the good times that we will come across adversity. I didn't know it would be immediately after me saying it, but I was like, yeah, we will. The hard times will come. And 1 point out of a possible 9. And it's not just 1 point out of a possible 9. It's 1 point out of Everton, Fulham, and Ipswich. If, in that good run of good form, you would have been like, yeah, 9 points, at minimum 7. Well, there's no way you can get less than 3 because of Ipswich in there. Just 1 point. And that point was the 0-0 draw away at Goodison that actually, if you've looked at some of their results since against the big teams, it wasn't such a bad thing. It showed we could play a different game, dig in and keep a clean sheet. But the Fulham game, very, very poor game management. Of course, we went into detail there about how the team showed great immaturity, or inexperience, should I say, and naivety, just not being able to see out a lead, and then letting Fulham back in. And there was a lot of that in this game as well, but obviously, look, I don't want to call Ipswich lucky because, yeah, it was a hard-earned win. They got inside Chelsea's heads. They wound us up. They had an amazing performance from Liam Delap. Easily man of the match for me. We're going to look at some stats at the moment. Of course, the striker we were linked with, that Enzo Maresca knows well. 21-year-old striker. Absolutely terrified our entire back line. And they defended really diligently. I'm not going to say do the plugs, like and subscribe. I'm not going to do the intro music. I don't swear, but I'm effed off, guys. And I'm allowed to be annoyed at a 2-0 loss away at freaking Ipswich. And of course it was going to be Delap, who won the penalty, who converted the penalty. I say won the penalty. It wasn't a penalty. And converted the penalty. And he actually, I believe, he assisted Amari Hutchinson. Of course, Amari Hutchinson scored. Former Chelsea player, and he had no problem doing a backflip celebration after dunking on Chelsea. And why should he? He came from Arsenal, he went to Chelsea as an opportunity. He knows Chelsea made a lot of money out of him. He was a great business acquisition for us. It's not like he bleeds blue, and why should he give a so-and-so about scoring against us? So let's talk about the pain, shall we? Here we are, Sofa score for reference, 2-0. As you can see, a lot of attacking momentum here is the blue, but it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. And Ipswich had the swing today, guys. How did we line up? Well, look, firstly, they did a 4-2-3-1, but sometimes made a 5. Really good performances from a lot of their players, actually, in terms of defensively. 5 friggin' changes from Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. Jorgensen in goal, which many Chelsea fans might not have a massive issue with. It's not like Sanchez has got unequivocally everyone's support, and Jorgensen, he's been a vibes man in the Conference League, so he comes in. Kukurea, who's this entire backline performed like, I'm going to swear, shit. I swear on my Instagram, not on here. Dessi, of course, leading the way. Caicedo and Enzo, I mean, they've been given okay ranks here. And then interesting was the attack. And Nkunku, and look, man, like we've been saying this over and over and over and over. Ooh, I didn't press that. Even Maresca is saying it. Nkunku isn't a striker. Nkunku isn't a striker. Nkunku isn't a striker. He's an amazing player. He's an amazing footballer in certain systems, played in certain ways. To be honest, and this isn't to denigrate him, but probably amazing, and he was amazing in the Bundesliga. Leipzig, scoring loads of goals. Transitional football, Bundesliga football. Timo Werner scores loads of goals. You know what I mean? Like, Pulisic, Nkunku, transitional players. I'm not saying he can't play in the Prem. He could in a certain style. He just can't. I just don't think he can play for us. I do feel bad. He deserved the start. I had no issue with him starting because he's an amazing footballer and he's been coming off the bench. It's hard, bro. It's hard, and you get judged off sub appearances. And you know, sometimes you just need to start and vibes the game out. It was not good. And look, at the end of the day, he's still starting with these players behind him. Noni Madueke returns to the side, Cole Palmer and Joao Felix. And Joao, I think, was very good, actually, for its opening period. That is quality. That is serious attacking combinational and creative quality for a striker, of which he is not. Yeah? Dessi, should we look at some heat maps? Playing as a conventional right back, absolute freaking trash. Cucurella playing as a conventional left back, so not much inverting here. He did hold the width. In fact, the whole left-hand side was totally dead. I was calling for Sancho a lot earlier. Let's take a look at the midfielders. Caicedo central, Fernandez all over the gaff, really. And then Cole Palmer. I have a feeling Palmer played a lot on the right, but I might be wrong. Oh, a bit more on the left. Left pocket, you could say, which would mean Fernandez right pocket. There you go. That's kind of what it is. Palmer predominantly left pocket. Fernandez predominantly right pocket because Noni Madueke was playing very much like a right winger, as you can see there. And I imagine Joao Felix is a little bit more narrow. Exactly that, a little bit more narrow. But because of that, the left-hand side was dead, bro. Like around here, like Cucurella was getting forward, but it was all going down our right-hand side. We did see substitute appearances this time. Of course, Maresca being criticised for only making a sub last time. He made 4 here. Neto, Gusto, Sancho, Jackson. Of course, he had 3 right-backs on the bench, one being Gusto, one being Josh Chiampong, who's kind of like a right-back centre-back. Maybe a bit like Dessi, but you'd much rather Josh on than Dessi. And Reece James, of course, returning to the squad for the first time. Look, Mark Gu as well. Look, I'd just like to say here, in terms of subs, I don't mind those subs. We're kind of learning still. I guess if we could do this game again, if I could do this game again, I'd look at that starting lineup and I'd be disappointed Dessi starting right before the mistake. But I'll be like, whatever. Like, Maresca's a good tactician. He's got a plan. Fine. But if I could do it again, I'd start Jackson firstly, just as a set striker. But if I couldn't start Jackson, if he didn't have the gas to start a game, I'd start Mark Q. I'd start a centre forward and put some crosses in the box. You know, I don't want to dig out on Nkunku because he's immense quality, but I feel like the whole back line were bad. Colwell's not been great recently. I do think he's a very talented, high-ceiling player, but I think he's been performing poorly. He's been getting too wound up. People talk about him as Chelsea captain material, not with the way he gets wound up. Look, Cucurella always does play the pantomime villain, which is fine. It works for him sometimes. But I swear, before he got that red card, right, he was playing really well, and he's come back and he's been pretty bad, bro. They've all come back. After these last 2 games, we've been bad. There's just obviously there's 2 losses in a row. Before we were good. We had the disappointing draw at Everton. It wasn't too hard to put elements of a positive spin on it. But the last 2 games have been absolute trash, and there's just no way, bro, of going out of it. So Delap scores in the 12th minute. It was a effing non-penalty. Delap, I'm not calling him a diver, but he's looking for it, obviously. And Jorgensen's fully pulled out, and there's it's just not a foul. It's not a penalty. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. The fact our VAR didn't get involved with this is pretty disgraceful, really. Look, and again, I don't want to take away Ipswich's great win. You know, this is the kind of luck you need when you're Ipswich and you're yet to get a home win, and it's a historic game against Chelsea. You need things to, you know, the rub of the green, and they got it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's up to us as Chelsea to do more. Joao Felix scores an offside goal, which I thought was a million miles offside, but apparently it was closer. VAR took 45 minutes to look at that, and I was thinking, look, you gave them the penalty, just give us the offside VAR goal. So look, we go in 1-0, yeah, and we're thinking we had loads of chances. Let's look at the stats, actually. That might be helpful for the first half, yeah. Let's look at the stats, right? So we go in at 1-0, okay? And they got created 0.54. Is that the freaking penalty? Because I don't know. In open play, we created 1.32 goals. Elite finishes, maybe scored 2 goals out of that, right? We created 1 big chance, 10 shots to their 5, 70, nearly basically 3/4 of the possession. We had 7 free kicks. Where's the corners? Yeah, we only had 1 corner, but very, very dominant in the first half. And you're thinking, all right, cool. Like, we'll come out, we'll make some tactical changes. Maresca's shown he can be a good tactician. We'll win this game. You know, we'll win it. We'll win the game. Second half, again, dominant stats. 6.67 XG to their 0.13. No one created a big chance though, which is, you know, yeah. 10 shots to their 4. We did make a couple of goalkeeper saves. There was a couple of moments on the break. And of course, it is... Look, there's fights. Everyone's rucking. Madueke comes... Hold on, let's talk about substitutions. So, they score less than 10 minutes into the second half. It's that man again, Liam Delap, passing to Amari Hutchinson, who finishes. Maresca reacts immediately by taking Felix off. And I feel kind of bad because Felix did see a lot of, stuff here. Let's have a look at his stats. He did see some touches, of course. 0.4 expected goals. He did make a key pass, a couple of shots on target. I think he might have hit the woodwork. He won 50% of his ground duels and the majority of his aerial duels, which is all you can ask for. But he was just sort of involved, you know, Joao, and I felt like it was harsh on him. But it was a mistake. It was a mistake because what it did was it was moved Nkunku temporarily to the left wing. Nkunku is ineffective as a striker, and I'd argue he's even more ineffective as a left winger. And because the left side was so friggin' dead, we needed Sancho. Heck, bring Neto on as a left winger. Bring Tyreek. Was Tyreek George on the bench? No, I don't think he was. Bring frickin' anyone on as a left winger. Nkunku is ineffective. As things stand, I don't want to write him off entirely, but he is ineffective as a left winger and at most as a left winger because we want 1v1 dribbling wingers. He's just so not that. He's ineffective as a striker. Sometimes he can work, but generally not. This is a huge learning period of the season here for the sporting directors, that if they are backing Maresca and his style of play, we need players that fit his style. We had a big talented squad, but that big talented squad now needs to be refined into players that fit the system. Say all you want about Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, yeah, and they went for a rough patch themselves, although they're back on form again. Their players, even though they're lacking a centre forward and a winger, the players in each slot, they know exactly what they're doing. Even a Martinelli, right? He doesn't score enough and finish enough, but he fits in tactically to the holistic idea. We've got players that don't fit in, right? And of course, we need to gain more and more trust with Maresca. And although he had a good start, he needs to prove that this is the way to go, and he needs to start proving some tactical flexibility, because remember, he joined Chelsea from Leicester and everyone was like, oh, it's going to be Sarri Ball 2.0. He's this dogmatic philosophical coach that won't change. But we saw changes. Yeah, we've seen inverting fullbacks to the base of midfield to a number 10. We've seen conventional fullbacks. We've seen, him switch players a lot, and he's not he doesn't overly trust a few players. We'll talk about Dessi when I get there. And yeah, so Nkunku moves out to left wing, pointless, until of course Sancho comes on far too late, in my opinion. 65th minute, I would have brought him on half time because the left side was dead. Caicedo gets booked. Dessi finally comes off, and Gusto comes on the 77th minute. I reckon had we'd been winning this game, we would have seen a return for Reece James, but that's not the case. Pedro Neto comes on. Lots of arguments, lots of yellow cards. Ipswich beat Chelsea 2-0 at home in the Premier League. Liam Delap winning man of the match. Of course, player linked to Chelsea in the summer. We've also been linked to Kolo Muani in this upcoming window, which we've spoken about. Liam Delap, like 4 passes. This was like a prime Haaland performance there, wasn't it? Just an absolute nutter. He just terrified our centre-backs and our goalkeeper even. So shout out Liam Delap. He looks like and he just never stopped running as well. Like it was such a dogged performance from Ipswich. It wasn't like just, Sean Dyche Burnley sitting in the box. They did break, they did press well, they did keep their shape well, and despite all these XG and attacking momentum, they deserve their win. They capitalised off the Dessi mistake. They still Delap still made the run. It wasn't a penalty, but he was occupying that space. He conned the ref, and he scored a nice penalty. So they earned the win, even though it's like I said, you need these moments of luck and rub of the green against Chelsea. But let's talk about Chelsea. Player performances. I think Palmer played pretty well. He took more risky passes towards the end, but I think he had to. He was desperate to do something. I think Felix didn't do himself any damage. I know he was sacrificed early doors. Maybe it was... Felix should not have come off for Jackson. It should have been a straight striker swap and leave Felix on, and then Felix could come off for, Sancho. But I don't think he did himself too much harm. And yeah, the midfielders, they've got good ratings here. Everyone got fucking... Sorry, I keep swearing. Everyone got booked because that's what Chelsea do. We all get booked, don't we? Malo Gusto off the bench, booked. Caicedo booked. Colwill booked. Fernandez booked. I'm surprised Cucurella didn't get. Because he was being a bit gobby, wasn't he? Player performances then. Palmer good. Felix good. Whole back line terrible. I mean, I'm sure Caicedo and Fernandez were fine, but the passes were never there. I'm not going to dig out Jorgensen because for my money, he didn't concede a penalty, and the chance for the second goal, which killed us, was a back pass from Dessi. So I don't dig out players, guys, generally. I think it's unhelpful. And there is positive elements to Dessi every now and again. He can score a goal on a set piece, right? He had one good defensive performance in the Etihad many moons ago. He's a good guy. He's a vibes man. He celebrates with the boys. Apparently he's quite funny. He's just a great guy. I've seen enough, man. He's got like a catalogue of errors leading to goals for Chelsea Football Club. And it was such a crucial moment. Yeah, such a crucial moment. Because we were 1-0 down, right? And we gave them that, like, okay, we're going to win this. Do you know what I mean? We gave that to them, And it's just so bad. I don't want to... Conference League and Morecambe in the FA Cup. There is no... He's a £35 million player. Maresca sees something he likes. He probably likes his physicality. Bollocks, mate. I mean, Reece James moonwalks into this lineup with one hamstring. Josh Echiampong does. Gusto has cut... Even Gusto, he's gone off the boil. He has. I don't know if that's been talked about enough on this channel, but he has gone off the boil a little bit. Maybe that's because of the sort of unconventional tactics of Maresca for fullbacks. But, my God, yeah, I'm not going to say anything abusive towards Dessi. He doesn't want to do that, He took a shot, but then he got inside his own head and tried to play hero ball with that shot. Not abusing him, not get out of my club immediately, but just you can't start in important games, and Premier League games right now are important because, of course, we're not in a title race. We never were, but we are absolutely in a top 5 race, and we can't be getting 1 point out of 9. In 3 games, we're expected to get 9 points out of 4. Dessi was a big part of that today. He, for me, has to be dropped. And I don't call for that generally, so it absolutely sucks. Are we still in? I mean, should I look at the don't swear, Yan. I'm very upset. Calm down. Zen. So where are we? We're still somehow 4th in the table. Jeez. So yeah, we can't drop out of 4th for this game week. We're still so top 5 could be Champions League. And we're still 4 points. Hold on. We're still 5 points. No. 4 points clear of 6th. Somehow. Big learning experience. And also, it's worth mentioning, guys, that this was our 2nd away loss of the season. And the first and only one prior to this was Anfield. And we played pretty darn well at Anfield. We lost 2-1, I believe. And we played pretty good, actually. Like, maybe to the point where we shouldn't have lost. So that and Ipswich. Go figure. Here's your blip, guys. I'm obviously upset, stressed out, pissed off. Yeah, Maresca. Oh, they're like, look at you. Because like, the players are young. They will get yellows. They'll get stressed out, whatever. And yes, you will get unlucky. You will have these penalties that go against you and, you know, and whatever. And what it's up to Maresca now, okay? How do you react? What do you do with Dessi? What do you do, you know? Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.